Hey there, my name's Joe Meadows, and in this video I'm going to give you a quick overview on tasks, what they are, and how to use them in OpsLock. So I think the first thing for me to just quickly note is that we understand that for most of our customers, you have another system like a planned maintenance system where you're kind of getting all your work orders. And I know that when we use the term tasks, that can seem a little bit confusing. Because you probably feel like we're asking you to do double work. I just want to address that head on and say that that's absolutely not what we're trying to do here. We are not trying to replace any part of the systems you're using to plan and manage the work that you're doing on your site. What we're trying to do here is just create kind of a system that's going to run in parallel to that one. And the reason that we want to do that is it makes things way easier in the future as far as organization and dealing with this information. So let me just give you a quick little example. Here we can see that we have a welding task on our worksite. If we look at this task, we can see that this task has a risk assessment, a work permit, and a lockout tagout, which we just call an isolation. If we didn't have a feature like tasks that allows us to kind of put all these things together in what is essentially a folder, then if we ever wanted to find the work permit and the isolation associated with this task, we'd have to go to separate lists. We'd have to cross-reference, is it the right day? Is it the right one? And that's an experience that we found our users were frustrated with. So we created, again, this idea of tasks as just a way to kind of create again, you could think of it as a folder to keep all the health and safety documentation for each job you do in one place. The benefits of that is that this allows us to do a bunch of different things. So I'm going to get into creating a task in just a second, but while we're here, again, we can see that there's a handful of documents associated with this job. If we were ever doing this job again, I could search in my task list, find this one, and simply come into it and clone it. When I clone it, it's going to give me it's going to allow me to change the title a little bit just so I can, so maybe we're going to weld a handrail now. We can change the assignee. It's going to clear the due date. So let me set the due date to tomorrow. But now we can see that all those documents that were created before have now been cloned. So now we just have to quickly review them, edit them for our new circumstance. But that whole package is able to recreate it, or is recreated for us. And that's where we see the power of this tasks feature. So I just wanted to address that right off the hop because we know that that's something that people are sometimes confused by. So with that, let me take a step back and show you how you could create one of these tasks and the various options we give you in that process. So let's just go back to our homepage right now. Again, on the homepage, we talk a lot about tasks. So here at the top, you're going to get a quick insight into how many of the tasks assigned to you are overdue. Excuse me for a second. So that means that they have a due date that is falling in the past. So this particular employee is not on top of things. 94% of their tasks are behind schedule. Below that, you're going to see the 4 tasks that are either coming up soon or are the most overdue. So you can kind of think of it as the things that you haven't dealt with in the longest time are going to appear here. If you want to see all the tasks that you are the assignee for, all you need to do is click up here on the top, and it's going to filter and show you all those tasks that are assigned to you so that you can kind of triage them and decide what you want to work on today. If we wanted to take a task assigned to us in the past, I can click on this. I'm jumping ahead here. This is a bad example because I've got subtasks. Okay, here. So I can complete that task. So that allows me to remove it from my list. Additionally, what we're able to do is reschedule a task. So if I go to edit, I might say, oh, I'm not going to do this in January anymore. I'm going to do it today. I save that, and now that's going to update that task for me and make it show up today. So that's some of the basic ways we can navigate the tasks that are assigned to us. An additional note, if we look below this new task button, we're going to see Worksite tasks for today. So what this is going to show us is any tasks that aren't assigned to us, but are happening in the place that we work. And the reason that we show these is just to kind of increase situational awareness. Maybe another department is working on some work and they forgot to tell you in your toolbox talk. And this is going to give you that little bit of visibility on what else is happening so that you've got that going on. Okay, so other than this, a few of the other things to touch on. I just got a notification here, so we'll talk about that in just a second. Sorry. So other than this, what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about creating tasks. So if I create a new task, again, I would do this maybe as part of my toolbox talk in the morning. So we go to our planned maintenance system and we see, hey, these are the jobs we want to do today. Well, as part of that process, you're simply going to come in here and say, one of the jobs we've agreed to do is engine maintenance. We can describe that job if we want to. You can see that that's not a required field. And I could press save right now and we'd be ready to go. If you want to change who the assignee is, we can click here. That'll give you access to all the people you can assign the job to. Additionally, we can change the due date. If you want to be maybe doing things a day or two in advance, you can do that here. Some of the other things to note, so all these other fields are optional, but just to give you a quick rundown on them, it's going to show you your location. So it's going to default and automatically say that the place that you work here, and it's going to flag if there's any simultaneous operations occurring at that location. Those will be visible to you here. If you want to click on this, one thing to note is that we do give you the ability to kind of create what we call job sites within your Worksite. So if you've set those up, you'll have the ability to kind of drill down a little bit and really be a little bit more specific on where this work is taking place, if that's helpful for you. Some of the other fields, team, this allows you to say, in this case, Frank is the person who is responsible for kind of making sure that this job is done. But if there's going to be other people who are helping Frank, we can click here and we can add those folks to the team, and then they'll have visibility of the task and that it's taking place. Department, again, pretty straightforward. The company can set up various departments in the system. We only have one right now, but we can assign that department. Again, just to reiterate, all these fields, including this media field, which is just attachments, are all optional. The only field you need to fill out is just title. So again, on a daily basis, while you're saying, what are the things we need to do today? It's just a matter of going in and typing in those titles and you'll be ready to roll. Okay, so that's it. We press save and now we have a task created. And again, what this is creating for us is that folder where now we can do a risk assessment. That risk assessment might help us create a work permit or an isolation. We'll do those in separate videos, but all those things are going to be kind of captured in a single place. If we want to reuse them or look for them in the future, they'll all be here. So a little bit of legwork on the front end, but hopefully, again, the value proves itself out as you start to use it and you realize that you don't have to be doing things over and over again. Before we kind of close things up here, a few of the other things I want to note. So here you can see we have an integrated comments section and audit trail. So as we do more things with this task, we'll see that those different activities get added to the audit trail. So if I complete this task, just as an example, you can see that it marks that I changed the status to done. If I remove that, it'll update that again. And we have that complete audit trail right here on the task visible to everybody. If at any point I have some questions or I want to involve somebody else in the discussion of this task, we also have this comment section. So I can, make a note of something that happened. If I want to just make sure that note is associated with this task for the future, I can do that. Additionally, if I want to ask some questions of someone, or where is the tools. We can actually tag somebody. They'll get a notification and they'll be able to come in and interact with me in that comment section. If you get a comment or you like a comment that you see, one of the other features that we've added here that we think is pretty cool is just that ability to add a little bit of an emoji style reaction to make things a little bit more fun, we think. So that's the basics on tasks. It's just a mirror image of what you're doing in your maintenance system, and that you really shouldn't be spending too much time making these absolutely perfect if you don't need to. It's just a way to organize everything and make it easier for you to reference in the future. If we want to talk a little bit about some of the advanced functions of tasks, I'll just get into that really quickly. So if we go back to our homepage here and we create another new task, and let's say this is engine overhaul. So that's a more complex activity. Well, when we have those more complex activities where we can't capture all the details in just a single line, well, here we give you the ability to press this little plus sign on the right-hand side and create what we call subtasks. So we could have prepare tools and and job site. Again, we can add a description if we want to, but that's optional. We can, have another one that is do the job, and we can have another one that is clean up. Well, so now I've created all those steps. I can reorganize those steps, so there's a drag and drop feature. But additionally, when I save this task, so I've now got all those steps, I actually can't complete my job unless I complete all the subtasks. But what I can additionally do is, if I want to, I can actually do a risk assessment for each step of the job. And that allows us to identify that sometimes the different steps of a job have very different risk profiles, something that traditionally has been dealt with on a JHA, which we think is not the smartest way to solve that problem. You're able to have that kind of really granular breakdown of the risk step by step right here by doing a risk assessment for each step of the job. So again, the use of this subtask feature, a little bit more advanced, not something that we would expect you to use on a super regular basis, but it's there if you need it to capture that additional level of detail. The final thing I want to touch on just before I close out this video is I'm going to go here to our company page, and you can see that here on our company page we do have the ability to view tasks. So if we click on this is going to show us a comprehensive list of basically all the tasks that we have permission to see. So if you don't have permission to see what's happening on other work sites, you won't necessarily see everything, but you'll at least get a high-level overview. So if you're ever looking for something, you can come in here, you can use your search feature to find that, maybe a job someone else did or things like that. And additionally, we give you this ability to filter either by location or employee, etc. And that just gives you that ability to kind of drill down to these in a little bit more detail. So that's the quick overview on tasks. Hopefully this was helpful, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much.